Serious currently, what is the greatest threat to humanity? Water security. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria is pretty scary stuff. The rapidly approaching threat of humanity returning to a pre-antibiotic era, or entering a post-antibiotic era, due to abusive use of antimicrobials coupled with a rapid reduction of discovery and a lack of currently approved alternative approaches. Edit, you can look at it as entering a post-antibiotic era, or returning to a pre-antibiotic era. One in the same really in this situation. The ocean slowly dying. Once that ecosystem collapses, we won't be able to feed ourselves. Governments will crumble pretty quickly. Herd mentality, it's a double-edged sword, but with the age of the internet it's gotten worse than better. Willful ignorance. The demonization of experts and academics to the extent that people are congratulating themselves for being uneducated. EDA, with thanks to the Redditor who knows who they are for the silver. I'm slightly overwhelmed by the response this post has got, and I'm going to use this edit to make the point that I'm not an academic myself, but I know a few, and I know how bloody hard they had to work to get to where they are now, and to see all that effort, all that intellect denigrated by selfish, malicious idiots just so they can carry on self-justifying, dragging the rest of us into the abyss with them, really boils my piss. Misinformation. The fact that people don't trust scientific evidence anymore. Biodiversity loss. Closely followed by nuclear weapons and global warming. I think people underestimate the problem that biodiversity loss is. Climate change is a huge problem, but I think biodiversity loss is even more problematic. There is a total collapse of insects populations, and we begin to see a huge decline in bird populations. Other species will 100% be impacted, and I don't want to admit it, but it'll sooner or later impact food production, and that's where people will realize that shit hit the fan. OFC, if we manage to find new sources of oil so that we can attain plus 6 degrees C by 2100, climate change will be a bigger problem. Unless we mitigate it with a nuclear winter. And basically all our major problems can be summed by one word: greed. Weaponizing bipartisan issues in every country, making everything a team sport rather than a shade of gray. People would vote for the worst thing on earth just to be on the winning side. The average person has no understanding that there are more bots on the internet than people. That every interaction serves only to make them more pliable to the will of whoever pulls the strings that day. Poor critical thought skill - ignorant individual - hive mind - idiotic society - loss of freedom, starting with freedom of speech. Have you read Fahrenheit 451? I often revisit this old fave of mine. It's interesting to see that this book does not really depict a dire totalitarian regime that forbids and burns books. It's about a society that has become so ignorant, manipulated and stupid, that it's the very own citizens who start finding books offensive, and ask the gov to burn and forbid them. Of course, the gov obliges. This will be downvoted, but I'll say social media. A lot of people taking videos and snapshots first, then helping actual people in danger because they want to post something unusual on their social accounts. The fact that people idolize important people so much that they think those people can't commit any wrongs.